Amit, I'll do this new round which we had started with last series is rapid questions, where I'm going to ask you a few personal questions for our audience, for our young entrepreneurs to know more about you. So my first question would be, who has been your role model and why?
My role model has been my father because he came from a very, very poor economic background. And from his own efforts and studies, he then became a civil servant. And it is because of him that we had these opportunities and qualifications that we could garner.
Which book you are currently reading and why would you recommend it?
So I'm rereading the book called The Reluctant Billionaire. And it is basically a biography of Dilip Sangvi, who is the entrepreneur of Sun Pharma. Amazing book. I often read books about foreign entrepreneurs, but very rarely do I get to read a book which is good about Indian entrepreneurs. I have a personal bias in favor of Indian entrepreneurs. I think so many Gujarati entrepreneurs, so many good entrepreneurs India has. Entrepreneurship is in Indian blood. I think we should celebrate and look up to Indian entrepreneurs with Indian context much, much more than trying to emulate Western entrepreneurs.
I agree with that. And mantra of life and work that you live by?
Be optimistic. As an entrepreneur, you also know every day something is going wrong. There is some fire somewhere, and I suggest that it is extremely critical that we basically have this streak of optimism as an entrepreneur with us, where we believe that things will work out. And I think in reality also, in real estate also, when you are buying a property, you are buying it for long term. You are not buying it for today. You're buying it for 10 years, 20 years. This optimism that Indian real estate is going to do well, Indian consumers still prefer real estate as a solid investment to lean on, especially in their retirement age, is not going to change easily. Yeah. So optimism is something which is, I would say, a cornerstone of my philosophy.
And the best advice you have ever received in your life, also the worst advice?
I think the best advice which I have received is not taking any risk, which is more of a quote from Mark Zuckerberg, is that not taking a risk in life is the biggest risk. I think this has been my life-changing advice, because we often think about things that we can do or we should do. But what about the risk of omission? What about the risk of not doing something? When you retire, when you are 60 years old, when you are sitting on your that armchair, would you repent something, not trying? I think that is the risk of omission is something that we often ignore. So that's the best advice. Worst advice, I don't think I remember. I think I did not heed to it, so I don't remember.
Okay. So what is your go-to stress buster? Like, I'm sure day to day you must be quite busy with your meetings and everything, but still, end of the day, you want to, in this, it doesn't apply spending time with family and all, but what is your regular go-to stress buster?
I think taking a book and reading it is my biggest stress buster. So give me any book about any subject, be it history, be it psychology, be it health, be it entrepreneur, be it sports. I just love reading books, different genres, and that really relaxes me.
That's great to know. So you're an avid reader.
Yes.
So if not real estate sector, and of course do not mention banking, you are from the banking background. So if not real estate sector, which sector you would have chosen to build your career upon?
I think if not banking, any sector, I am open to any sector. And I'll tell you the reason. The reason is that I basically don't think from a sector point of view. I think more from a customer problem point of view. So me and my co-founders had no experience in real estate. So when we decided on nobroker, the thought did not cross our mind that we entering into a real estate sector which is which is considered dirty, or which is not considered professional, or which is not considered for an IIT guy to join. No. That thing people told us later. The thing which basically appealed to us was the problem. That why should I? So I was living in an apartment and I was trying to change a home. I couldn't find it. And later when I went through a broker, I found the home 2 floors above where I was living. And like, what is this? I can't find a spare home in my own building. This is the level of entrenchment that a broker has done in our lives. And the brokerage has done in our lives. So I think the problem is what appealed me. So had it not been real estate, I think any other sector, the problem should have been appealing.
But Amit, I've noticed in past 2 years, lot of engineers have gone into real estate.
Yeah.
So you guys have in certain way impacted that, because earlier youngsters used to, even parents used to look into real estate is not a good business. You know, it's very unorganized and everything doesn't seem, you know, right. Everything's in gray area, but that has changed. A lot of the IIT guys or the IM guys are entering into real estate.
No, you are right. And without taking the name of the founder of the company, I would tell you an anecdote that I met a real estate founder, and he told me that when nobroker became a unicorn in terms of valuation, they had a cake cutting ceremony in their office as a celebration towards the real estate sector. Because think about, as I said, roti kapda makan, think about roti, that two food delivery companies are above $10 billion valuation. Think about kapda, which is basically Flipkart, Amazon. These companies are by basically $20 billion valuation just in India. And then look at makan. We have only one unicorn right now, but the industry is as large as any other industry. So the next decade, I hope that there will be many, many unicorns, and more and more engineers will attack at this problem, because the problem is still unsolved. We have been able to partly solve it, but a huge way for us to go. Industry basically offers huge space to lots of shining entrepreneurs.
True. So personal goals that you have set for 2023, if you have to name two.
I think one is to spend more time with family, much more time, especially with my kids growing up. And second is high focus in terms of health, trying to be lean, making sure that sports, I'm consistent in sports. So I play badminton, but the consistency is something which I need to ensure.
Great. And the work resolution you have taken for this year?
I think coming to office, coming to work is always, I tap dance to work, as Warren Buffett famously says, because the charm of working with such amazing people is great. So the goal for this year is what we decide, what links back to the first question that you had asked, is to basically move towards profitability. So the key goal for this year, the two key goals is one, move towards profitability, and second is that hopefully be free of COVID waves, and hence a much higher uptick in revenue is what we are aiming for.
And this I couldn't find anywhere, so that's why I want to ask you your 3 favorite dishes.
Butter chicken, pizza, and biryani. All unhealthy.
That's why it will just contradict with the health and the dishes with your...
Yes.
Okay. So the last, not the least, one thing which you want young entrepreneurs, even your kids, to always remember, whatever problem they are tackling with regards to their personal life or professional, what they should look into first?
I think this is what I tell my kids, whenever you fall, get up back. Getting up back is more important than succeeding. So if I could basically help them with one lesson, I would say, keep on trying. It does not matter whether you succeed or not, but this ability to keep on trying is the only thing which matters longer term, because I have never seen anybody who has this undying spirit of keep on trying who hasn't met with success. I think success comes with you sooner or later, and we might be talking and you might be basically, the audience might be thinking that I am some special person, but I am not. I basically when I was in IIT, I was an average ranker in IIT. When I went to IIM Ahmedabad, then I got average grades. And when I joined, of course, I still belong to an IIT IIM situation, but my career was cruising normally, which an average person would have. But I think the spirit of continuously trying, is the one which basically matches with the opportunity, and then you get a chance to leapfrog from where you are. So perhaps that is what I would suggest.
No, I agree. That's like a universal mantra as well, because you need to keep on going. In our entrepreneur journey or in any scenarios, we have to keep going. There'll be a lot of hurdles, there'll be a lot of struggles. And there'll be a moment where you would have that weakness. Why are you doing this? Let it be. There's nothing, no return coming. So at that moment, I think you should still push yourself and still go ahead.
Yeah, correct. And every entrepreneur, I think audience should remember, should know that entrepreneurs like both of us might seem confident on this talk, but all of us are anxious, all of us are fearful of what wrong can happen, all of us are insecure at some level. So these feelings don't go away when you are running something of your own, because then you are responsible for a much larger team than what you were earlier. So we go through the same troubles, same emotional upheavals, perhaps even more than what anybody else would. But the only differentiator is we had a cockroach, we always have had a cockroach philosophy that we will not die. So no, apart from our seed investor, no other Indian investor invested in us from 2015 to 2019 for 4 years. No Indian investor invested in us. Everybody said that no, we have already burnt our hands in previous attempts at real estate, but we just survived. I think showing up to work and surviving is half the battle won.
Last but not the least, I'm sure you would have noticed in real estate, the women entrepreneurs are pretty less. What would change, or what kind of change should be seen so that women entrepreneurs are welcome more in the real estate domain? What do you think?
I think it is perhaps just a mental block. See, my wife is my IIT Kanpur batchmate, Priyanka, and she's far more intelligent than me. I have studied in IIT. I have been beaten by women all throughout my life, be it in terms of grades or be it in terms of profession. So I think it is only about why more people are not trying. See, today I would say even in the investing community, there is a very strong thought of how to encourage more women entrepreneurs. So I think perhaps the perception that real estate is a field which is not worthy for women to come needs to change. So many engineers are coming, and and within real estate is not about basically, don't imagine real estate as somebody carrying the brick and building a building. That is not real estate. Real estate is the entire journey from start to end, which has different aspects, the way in which you mentioned about B2B, B2C, and C2C. And field which women would find very exciting to work in, to lead in, to make companies in. I think the only reason why we are not seeing more women entrepreneurs is the old traditional mental block. But this field is ripe for many more amazing women entrepreneurs to take charge and win.
And last but not least, I want to wrap up before keeping you too long for this. Your work culture, I have been hearing no broker work culture is pretty good. So what you had in mind in the beginning, because of course, once you set up the company, you are very much sure this is the work culture I want to continue in my own, company, based on the experiences you must have had in your previous jobs and everything. But what kind of work culture you had from the start in the beginning, that this is how it should be. This is where I want even the women employees to be more involved in this real estate market, or we have a culture where we provide the equal pay, everything. So what kind of culture did you have in the mind in the beginning, and are you following the same?
So two aspects. One was that the objective is that everybody is welcome as long as you are meritorious. Because we are a capitalistic enterprise. So for us, the most important thing is to build shareholder wealth, apart from solving customer problem. So from the very start, whatever we could do in terms of encouraging women entrepreneurs. For example, if somebody has joined and she needs a maternity break, we most welcome it. We support her to make sure that even in the months where she needs our help, work from home, taking longer leaves, everything we do to make sure that she can join us back. And that happened successfully many times. Ensuring, for example, in office, ensuring that if we don't feel that it is safe to travel in night alone after say 9 p.m. or 10 p.m., So we don't allow any woman to work till that late. Even if your boss is saying, your boss cannot say for you to work that late, so that there is never any untoward incident. It makes my heart extremely happy to see that many of the, for example, many of the women in whose family a woman has never worked before.
Yeah.
And they are the first women who are coming to a no broker and working. And I could see the worried parents coming to office, looking at office, whether this is a safe place for my daughter to work, and then asking a daughter that, okay, theek hai, tum kar lo kaam yahan par. That gives me very happiness. Enabling first woman of a family to earn money, to work professionally and succeed, basically paves way for many, many future generation. So that personally makes me very happy. Apart from that, the work culture has been and is exactly opposite of what I hated. So what I hated was, when I was working for someone else, was micromanagement, favoritism. So I need to make sure that I take care of the introvert people much, much more than I take care of extrovert people, because they don't speak their mind, and their work should not be outshone by people who tom their work too much just because they speak a lot. So you may be introvert, you may be extrovert, you may be fresher, you may be younger, or you may be more experienced or less experienced. Everybody in a meeting room, the merit of the argument should always win, not how old you are or whether you are the boss or you are the junior guy. That is what I always wanted, and that is the culture that I have ensured in No Broker.